Hello and welcome back. As expected, very busy week this week, so didn't get much done during the week. Just had a bit of a play with the railway, but then unexpectedly managed to finish early on Friday afternoon and ended up working quite late into Friday evening. Let's just let that go back around, see if we can glimpse it under there, and you can see those sidings in the bottom right of picture there. I managed to get to work on those. I'll just bring that to a stop underneath the window. We'll let that come around there. So that's the Silver King. Gentle stop there. So we'll just pop the controls down. So we've got the handheld unit here. Let's pop that down there. You can see a lot of mess going on here. I've got some track selected here for the final, I think, which will be the final project on the Series 3. We'll have a look at what I'm going to do with some of those pieces. Not all of them, but the points and the uncoupling ramp and a couple of the straights, I think. So I've prepared a bit more track and to get into these sidings, which we'll just have a look at there. So that was quite a bit of work, but it was uninterrupted all the Friday afternoon. And Friday evening I managed to get this down, so those uncoupling rails got in there, all cleaned up. Got some isolating rails in there, which I haven't managed to wire up yet, but I think what we'll do, we'll jump the other side and we'll have a better look at them. So whilst I'd had that point in and all wired up, it hadn't really sort of progressed further than there. The rails had just really been stood in, and this point here had been prepared and modified with the extra contacts I've been sort of upgrading, but hadn't been wired up. So then all of the track that was lying in here had a couple of those yard lengths in there, which were quite sort of curvy and bendy. So I decided to put in some standard Series 3 straights. And then I think we saw a month or so ago I got some extra uncoupling rails, so they've all been cleaned up and installed. So this is all screwed down now. I use those 10mm track screws. I think it was 10mm. I'll have a look at the moment. The bag's to my right there. So isolating rails in here. I would have put that one the other way around, but there's a beam, not a beam, a upright there. So if I drop the cables down underneath, I wouldn't be able to get to them. Very tricky. So I've put that way around. So I don't think that's going to have any operational impact. I think that'll still work quite nicely. Uncoupling rails at the end of the sidings here, and I've just got a couple of these buffer stops held in there. They're sort of not blue tacked but black tacked in, because most of these that I have, I think I showed this box. There's a handful. Can we get any focus on there? I can't remember the number. Is it 103 or 108? I can't quite read the end of that packet. I'll put the information at the bottom of the screen now. I think that's 103, to be honest. So pop that down. So that's sort of mixed condition. And I have got others, but they do tend to have a bit of a, sorry, I'm looking in the wrong place, a bit of distortion in them. So I haven't searched out the other boxes with them in at the moment. So none of these sort of clip into the rails, and some of these are quite badly damaged. And I think a couple of them, somebody's put a screw hole in there. So I think I need to come up with a slightly better way of installing those. I don't really want a very large sort of crosshead or flathead screw showing in there. I'm not adverse to the screws holding things into place, but I think it could be a tiny bit neater than that. So there's a little bit of black tack just holding those into place, sort of reasonable there. So I don't like the black tack on here, because if it touches this cork base, when you pull it away, it just pulls the cork straight up. It adheres to the cork really well. Yeah, 10mm. So I was using 10mm, those 10mm screws on there. So I was quite pleased with that. So ideally, I'll be able to roll the train in, isolate it, uncouple it, isolate it, and then drag coaches or wagons away again with something else. There is an isolating rail here, a non-standard one. I don't know whether we can get close enough to have a look in there. So I wanted to be able to not only have a couple of locomotives perhaps sitting in there, trains or so on, but also to be able to use this spur here, because it's a nice length, And you got the blue Pullman with a single coach on there, and quite a nice little freight train sitting in there. So just another bit of flexibility, really. Let's see if we can roll something around into there. So if I grab the controls, there you go. I know I promised something more exciting this week, but I was surprised I managed to get this done, to be honest. So let's run that into the siding. What I should have done is activate the uncoupling ramp. Let's stop that there, and let's see if we can undo. Let's see if we can uncouple. So we'll try and keep this relatively short again. I know in last week's video was short, but I think we'll keep this one short as well. So I haven't got the isolating rails. There we go. I heard those couplings pop up as that came to a stop. There. So I could temporarily isolate that princess just by pulling out this cable, which I'll probably live to regret. So let's just pop that out of there. So let's see if we can pick those coaches up with something else. So I think what we need to do is switch that point. So if I reach over there and see if I can switch that. There we go. And I think we'll just get out this Suburban train here. So I'm looking over my shoulder and not especially looking where I'm pointing the camera. So I think if we throw this one, and let's see if we can make this train go the correct way there. So see if we can back that into the siding. So everything is a real mess at the moment. So we'll see if that'll come through there. What I should have done is activate this uncoupling ramp as well, isn't it? Let me take that forward again. There we go. So let's do that one. So I'm reaching over the floors, a complete mess. Everything I've been working with sort of yesterday afternoon and evening there is all still sort of strewn around. So let's see if we can back that up again. And where are we going to go there? So let me see if I can visually keep hold of where the uncoupling rail is and bring it to a stop at the right point. I don't know, have I got that? Not quite. There we go. One way or another I got that. Not quite as graceful as you might want. So let's roll that forward. And then we'll have the points over here again. So if I just reach over my shoulder here, make that straight. Now will these Mark II couplings pick up these Mark III couplings on the coaches? Let's back that up again. They will is the answer. Whether they hold on to them or not is another matter. So we'll just pop that in there. There we go. So I think we'll leave it at that there. So you can see that I was quite pleased with that progress, having thought I'd get to spend no sort of time fiddling with the railway at all. And I think it's time to start getting some more of these platform pieces here. So these are the ones I remember months ago before I started fiddling on the overhead section. I had these, all of these sections. So we'll just grab a few of them. And we'll pop these down here. So I think over the next week I might sort of try and place some platform pieces. I think that's a curly one. So that's why I've left quite a bit of space either side for these curly platforms. So I think that's going to be pretty good there. So I think that's probably it for this week. Just a little bit of a catch-up. Let's give this Silver King a little more power we'll just have a quick look at that, run around, and we'll ideally have something more exciting next week, although quite how exciting it will be, I'm not sure. But thank you again for watching. Goodbye now. That wasn't quite the end. What I'd completely forgotten about is the final bit of Series 3 that I was going to fiddle with. I'll just put the controls down there, he says, hopefully. So here are the pieces of track. I forgot to bring them with me when I jumped the other side of the railway. I've been tempted to put in a point here. I think it's there. I was playing with this earlier and laying the track out. So that's a left-hand point. And then we can bring a curve around here. So that comes around there. And I can join that up with that line there. So that'll act as a very long crossover, or a nice handy siding, which will run from either inside or the outside line. So I was just standing looking at it and thinking, well, that could work. So I'm not quite sure of where that's going to come out of that curve. That's the only sort of sticking point as to whether a point here is going to behave itself reliably in this curve, but I think it will. So yeah, almost forgot that. But thanks again. It really is the end this time. Goodbye now.